this is a message to the Shannon Sharps of the world. All right. And I'm speaking about single men, and especially single black men. I first want to start off by saying I am not here to say that Shannon Sharpe is innocent, and I am not here to say that Shannon Sharpe is guilty. It doesn't really matter right now. The point I'm about to make is a cautionary tale for, every man that's striving to be the 1% man, every man that's striving to get to the bag, have massive success, etc. You got to understand there's a high cost that comes with your levels of success. And part of that is the discipline of your lower region, okay? And I know it's hard for people, especially when they're young, right? Especially when you're in your 20s and you're, fresh out of college and you got an NBA contract, NFL contract, making millions of dollars. Maybe you wasn't that dude from a, female standpoint in high school, but you grew up and got your bread and, you got the muscles and all of that and your money and your papers up. And now all the girls want you because you got this status. You got, a great social following and you're in a whole different light now, right? So, maybe your exploits of sleeping around with multiple women, you partake in that, right? And most men these days are not mentoring younger guys to let them know, hey man, you may not want to do that. I get it. We got a real bad habit of telling young dudes to go, when you get to the money, it's like, man, don't lock down with one girl, man. Just smash everything in sight. Don't be a simp. Just date multiple women. Do this and do that, right? And it sounds cool. It sounds like the plan. But I'm telling you, bro, the lust of a man will wipe him out. No matter what NDA that you had somebody sign, no matter, what kind of level of consent somebody, consented to, it doesn't matter. And we have so much evidence in the media right now that if you're a black man that's successful, and a man that's successful in general too, and you're out here sleeping around, you can bet your bottom dollar. If somebody wanted to press the button on you, your whole empire will come crumbling. All it takes is one allegation, whether it's true or not. All it takes is one allegation to wipe you off the map, to get you up out of here, okay? Now, with the Shannon Sharpe situation, okay, he is a 56-year-old man. And I got a lot of respect for Shannon, I watched him come up from his days as a NFL Pro Bowl level, tight end to being a media mogul now, and his success is, to be applauded, to be honest, because he's defied the odds and he's made a bigger life for himself outside of football than he probably ever thought he could. And you can tell he works hard. He's all about his work ethic. But some alarming things came to mind once this new situation came about. And I hearken back to several different conversations that I've heard him say of why he's not married, why he doesn't want to lock it down with one woman. And his thing was because he loves his work more than he does wanting to, slow down and, and get married, right? He said, and so I remember somebody, I forgot who it was, somebody was like, well, God, won't you, you can't be out here fornicating. He's like, I'm still going to do that, right? I'm still going to do that. Well, look at where that's getting him, right? It started off with the whole Instagram Live situation where, he was accidentally on Instagram Live and, basically partaking in the activities of the flesh, so to speak. His job was in jeopardy. It was a threat, but he kind of he pivoted out of that real smoothly. You know what I'm saying? He Euro stepped that situation, so to speak, right? He ended up getting the role, whatever, Sparks sponsorship, where he was, the sexual enhancement sponsorship and all of that. He parlayed it. He actually, probably grew his platform even bigger. And we all kind of forgot about that. It is what it is. But his new situation comes up, right? And not only is he being accused of some, crazy things, the girl was 19 years old when he first started dealing with her, 19 or 20, okay? Now, yes, it was legal. I am not speaking about criminality, okay? I am not speaking on criminality. Okay? Yes, he is, to the letter of the law, he's well within his rights to do whatever he wants consensually with somebody that's of age. Okay? But theoretically, there's no way in the world a 56-year-old man, 55-year-old man, 54, whatever, however old he was at the time when he first started dealing with it, right? There's no way in the world he should be sleeping with a girl who had the teen word attached to her age, okay? Because it begs the question, what if she was 17? You know, you got to think about those kind of things. But I'm not here to debate his level of creepiness. But what I am here to say, right, and I was looking at Proverbs, right, and I want to go to Proverbs 5, okay? Proverbs 5:3 says, "For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil." Now, that's talking about, get your mind out the gutter, stop lusting. It's talking about talking, her being able to seduce you with her words. And, it says, "But in the end," this is verse 4, "in the end, she is as bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword." Okay? "Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave. For she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it." Okay? It goes on to say in verse 7, "So now, my sons, listen to me. Never stray from what I am about to say. Stay away from her. Don't go near the door of her house." Okay? Don't go near the door of her house. "If you do, you will lose your honor and will lose to merciless people all you have achieved." Let me repeat that. It says, stay away from her. Verse 8, don't go near the door of her house. If you do, you will lose. Don't go near the door of her house. If you do, you will lose your honor and will lose to merciless people all you have achieved. Okay? Now, let's pause right there. Shannon Sharpe has a $100 million deal that was basically being offered to him. Okay? If he still gets it, if he really still gets that deal, God helped him dodge the biggest bullet of all time. Okay? Now, imagine how much can be lost with this situation. Stephen A. Smith did a video and he talked about how he, supports his brother, but he doesn't know what's going to be the outcome. And, even though Shannon vehemently denies all these allegations, if it comes out to be true based off the facts of the case, a lot is in jeopardy. A lot is in jeopardy, which means he can lose his job at First Take. He can lose the podcast deal. And this affects a lot of people. Think about it. He has a staff. He got Ocho Cinco with him, right? For Nightcap. He got Club Shay. And he has his other podcast under his, media company, right? And this could affect everybody. So many sponsors can just pull away, right? Pull away from him just because of these decisions. He could be completely innocent. This is a warning, all right? Now, whether you believe in God or not, we see the evidence. So it's like you look at people in the industry like that have kept their head above water for a long period of time, very minimal scandal or murmurs about indiscretions. You look at Denzel Washington, right? Denzel has been married to his wife over 40 years. You seldomly, if ever, have heard of anything unscrupulous about the dealings of Denzel Washington. But he has also insulated himself by having a wife. And I'm not saying he's been perfect. I'm not saying he ain't ever did nothing wrong. Who knows? Maybe he hasn't ever cheated, right? I'm not here to debate that. But one thing you don't hear, one thing we understand about Denzel is that it appears he goes home at night. You've never seen him in compromising situations with other women. Never. He has the protection of his wife. Having a wife is protection for a lot of guys. Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world. You may look at him and like, man, he was a fool for getting married because he's so rich. Well, he wasn't rich. He wasn't a billionaire when he got with his wife, right? His first wife. They split. He became even richer after that, right? She took half. Yes. And it didn't crumble him. He's a guy who made billions. He knows how to make more billions. And now he's about to get married again. He might already be married again. I'm not even sure. I know he's at least engaged. Why would a man like that with that kind of bag get married again? See, most of the black media, Black guys with this red pill, I hate women vernacular out here. Like, the message is don't get married, stay single, go away. When the message really should be stop picking the wrong kind of women. The reason why most people fail in marriage is not because all men are trash. It's not because all women are trash. It's because trash people attract trash people. That's the real truth. And when I say trash, I'm speaking on all different levels, right? You may be good in one aspect of being a man, but you may be a poor leader. So if you're a poor leader and you attract a woman, that means you guys are not going to go anywhere, right? And you may have a contentious relationship because of that, right? Or you could be a guy or a woman that's very promiscuous out here and you get married to somebody and then, you still can't stop being the person that you are. So you cheat, you step out, right? That's who you are. That's what you end up attracting. So the real thing is, and if you're a true man that wants to be so-called 1% or whatever the new high value man, the only way to be truly high value is you got to be high value in all arenas. That means you got to have discretion, okay, with the type of woman that you choose to lay down with. And really, you should be dating for marriage. Honestly. Like, it shouldn't be no more of, man, sleep around and smash all the girls that you can. Bro, that is not being a man. It's not. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 15, 18, 25. That is not being a man. It is not. The fact that you can conquer as many women as possible is not being a man. And I don't care what you want to say about carnal nature and all that kind of stuff, our nature and our... No, just because you have an appetite like that does not mean that you are supposed to satisfy that appetite in that kind of way. Okay? It is a call to be disciplined, right? And yes, it's difficult, but I guarantee you will stay out of much more trouble if you keep yourself on a straight and narrow path. Dude, all of us men have been in situations that could have cost us everything, right? I dealt with a baby mama situation. My first child was born out of wedlock. Now, thank God I ended up getting custody of him and everything, but I went through hell for a time. But one thing I wasn't doing, even when I was out here fornicating and stuff, I wasn't sleeping around with a bunch of women either, though. You know what I'm saying? I was very picky as far as... I'm in the single digits of sexual partners as a man that's 44 years old. And I'm married now, so... But when I was out here in my single life, slim and in shape and all that, everything I'm trying to get back to, but I never had a problem with getting women. So that wasn't the issue for me. I made choices. My goal was to stay a virgin until I got married. Didn't work, it didn't work, but I wish I would have. I really wish I would have. Because, man, the sin that comes along with doing crazy stuff like out here is just, like, the consequences is crazy, okay? Let me finish up with Proverbs 5. Let's start with verse 10. It says, strangers will consume your wealth, and someone else will enjoy the fruit of your labor. In the end, you will groan in anguish with disease. Let me repeat that. In the end, you will groan in anguish when disease consumes your body. You will say, how I hated discipline. If only I had not ignored all the warnings. Why did not listen to my teachers? Why didn't I pay attention to my instructors? I have come to the brink of utter ruin, and now I must face public disgrace. All right? And it goes on to say, drink water from your own well. Share your love only with your wife. Okay? Why spill the water of your springs in the streets, having sex with just anyone? You should reserve it for yourselves. Never share it with strangers. This is literally telling you, even if, all these new age, people getting married and having multiple partners, and we look at, everybody wants to bring up people like King Solomon in the Bible because he had so many wives and God allowed him to have so many wives and concubines. But guess what? We don't talk about the fact that he had all these wives and concubines. That's what made his empire fall. Okay? Now, Solomon prayed to God and asked God for wisdom. He wanted to be the wisest person. And he became the wisest person for a moment. And he amassed so much wealth for his wisdom. People paid him to share his wisdom. Okay? And God even told him, hey, the fact that you asked for wisdom, you're going to be rich because you only asked for wisdom. You didn't even ask for money. You asked for wisdom. Okay? So he was able to amass so much wealth. But then he got too big for his britches. He started dealing with so many different women, right? He started dealing with women who were into witchcraft and stuff like that. And ultimately, he lost his kingdom. God told him, all right, well, you wanted all these women. I let you have them. I let you have all these wives and concubines. He had thousands of them. He was slaying, okay? He really was. It ultimately crashed and crumbled his empire, just like it said it would, okay? We see the Diddy's, Jay-Z almost lost everything when he, from his wife when he, cheated on her. And then he tried to come back with this little, 13-year-old girl thing. That didn't work out. Tony Busby is a ambulance chaser when it comes to stuff like this. But you just got to look at the writing on the wall, man. Like, in fact, marrying Beyonce was probably the smartest thing Jay-Z ever did. Because had he not, he was already getting a lot of, because from his past when he was younger, in his 20s and stuff, and, all the babies they say he got out here and illegitimate children that he hasn't taken care of and stuff like that. But truthfully, him being with Beyonce has leveled his life up. You got to get married, man, if you want to protect your bag. But you also got to pick right. And the only way to pick right, you got to be right. And look, we want to hold women accountable, but biblically speaking, the Bible calls the man to be the head. And what that means is the man must be right first. We are the first point of accountability in any relationship. The man. I believe that if all men were men of integrity, women would have no choice but to be women of integrity. Okay? If men didn't get on OnlyFans and purchase subscriptions all the time, no women would be doing OnlyFans. Okay? If men didn't overpopulate strip clubs, women would not be strippers. If men didn't pay for prostitutes, women wouldn't sell their bodies. True. So you got to look at, the man is always supposed to be the leader. Always. If we lead by example, places that are more patriarchal, you have better women. America is not like that. It's not really patriarchal as it used to be. But this is a cautionary tale, man, to, all you guys. I don't care what your big brother told you, like, man, don't get in no relationship, man. Smash all the girls you want, and, man, you can lock it down later. We don't tell our daughters that. You don't tell your daughter, hey, sweetheart, just, when you go to college, don't lock down with one man, sleep around, get your cheeks cracked in by everybody. We don't do that. Would you do that to your daughter? Would you tell your daughter that? Would you tell your little sister that? No. So if you're telling all the men to be promiscuous, to sleep around, to smash everything in sight, who are the women supposed to date? Who are the women supposed? What kind of man should a woman choose who's been out here spreading himself all over the map? Explain that to me. Explain it to me. Can you? The wages of sin is death. The gift of God is eternal life. Plain and simple. Shannon, Monique warned you. Get with somebody your age. Come back to the black side. Also, I guarantee you, man, Shannon Sharpe, a man of his age and his stature, he should at least have a relationship with a woman. Like, he should be in a one-woman relationship. I guarantee you he was in a woman relationship this whole time since he started Club Shay Shay. He wouldn't have none of these troubles. He wouldn't even be in this situation right now. But the fact that he's been out here spreading himself thin with all these vile women, okay, it's over. And the last verse, okay, I want to read. The last verse I want to read is Proverbs 6:26. For a prostitute, now let's go back to 25. It says, no, 24. It will keep you. In fact, the last verses I want to read are actually from Proverbs chapter 6. Okay, Proverbs 6. Okay, it says in verse 23, for their command is a lamp and their instruction is a light. Their corrective discipline is the way to life. Verse 24, it will keep you from the immoral woman, from the smooth tongue of a promiscuous woman. Number 25, don't lust for her beauty. Don't let her coy glances seduce you. 26 says, for a prostitute will bring you to poverty, but sleeping with another man's wife will cost you your life. All right? So I'm going to stop with that. And the Bible basically tells you, like, you sleep with somebody else's wife, man, you're looking to die. But also, think about it. You're dealing with a girl who's an OF model. who literally makes content off her body and money off her body, right? She lives a promiscuous lifestyle, right? She's basically a new age form of prostitution. And you're dealing with her as a man with a lot to lose. It's foolish. It's death. It's literally something that can ruin you. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be self-righteous, bro. Look, we all sin, we all make mistakes. But man, I'm here to tell men, okay? Tighten up, bro. We got to tighten up. We got to stop doing all this stuff that is culturally acceptable, okay? Every man, I want to challenge every man to start reading Proverbs. Just start there, even if you don't believe in God. If you don't believe in God, that's foolish, but whatever. If you don't believe in God, at least read the book of Proverbs, okay? And get this translation. The reason why, the New Living Translation is what I was reading from. You know, a lot of you guys, if you don't believe in God, reading the King James Version will make you probably not want to believe in God even more because you probably won't understand. I still like the King James Version to an extent, but get the New Living Translation just for your own digestion of content that you can understand. Read the book of Proverbs. Just read one book of Proverbs a day. It's 31 books, so you can do it in a 31-day period. I guarantee you, if you just take the wisdom of the book of Proverbs, okay, it will change your life for the better. I don't care what you believe in. It will change your life for the better. Now, and I'm also here to venture to say that if you don't believe in God, in the Most High, after you read Proverbs, the whole book of Proverbs, I don't see how you will be able to still not believe in God after reading this, okay? But as a man, every man should read Proverbs and follow what Proverbs says. This is the real book of discipline, okay? All right, so it's your boy Carl Anthony, due season. We locked in. Peace.